Welcome back, folks. Before we go on, I just want to check on some sports stats. Keep myself sharp here on the sports, and I'll use my computer and just go in here, and I'm going to check. Okay.
Welcome back to Too Much Tip. I'm one of your hosts, KJ Ellis.
KJ on the mic.
On the mic, right out the gate.
Up.
Opposite of my right, Dylan Shivery.
Man, wow, this doesn't happen.
No.
I got introed for the first time twice. 2 consecutive episodes. This is a big day for me. Of course, Dave's not here, though, so.
That's right. We did a little shopping on the free agent market. Went for the 2-for-1 deal. No Micah Weiner in the house.
Yeah, no
Dave
Micah.
in the house.
No Micah, no Dave.
But we do have the venerable. Is that a good word to use here?
I think so. I don't know. Who knows?
The notorious Will DeFreeze in the house. What's up, Will?
Great to be here. Thank you guys for having me. I don't want to say the squad's in disarray because I think the squad's actually doing better than ever, which is why we have the modified crew today. But
yeah,
if there's ever a time to have a modified crew, it's probably the week after there's no NFL games and no college games. So this is good for everybody.
And having a child is also a good excuse not to be here. So we do excuse Dave.
I don't know if I excuse him. I think it's kind of a cop-out.
Big ups to Rhodes, though.
Does Rhodes not like sports?
TBD.
Okay.
It's hard to say at this point.
Do we know if Rhodes has an at yet?
I don't know. Probably
you got to
not.
think they got in early on that SEO. Like they decided back in September.
They're like, yeah, we got to get this. It has to happen.
Hold it down for Rhodes.
This will only enhance his followers.
Get in on the ground floor, if you will.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, big show today. And by big show, I mean there's like 4 events that we're going to talk about. But I don't think you'll be without satisfaction because we don't have it today. But coming back next week, Dip Tips, 833-371-DIP. Hear your voice on this very podcast and hear me talk shit about how bad your question is. Typically on Mondays.
I guess we didn't hear from Dave on if we got any playable voicemails.
I shot him a message this morning, and he said he did have some, and I told him don't worry about it.
Okay, we'll save them.
So we'll save them for next week.
Yeah, luckily enough happened over the weekend. It's obviously the weekend between, before the Super Bowl. There's not much going on sports-wise.
Yeah. It is a slow week. We didn't have many Senior Bowl opinions come through on the Dip Tips line, apparently.
Yeah. I think Ellinger threw a touchdown.
Hey, my sources said he looked great all week.
That's cool.
That's new.
That's cool. Oh, come on, man.
Sorry.
Kellen Mond, the MVP.
But yeah, we got some golf controversy. I think there's a soccer story we're going to talk about that Will's excited to.
I wish it was soccer because it would be a controversy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. But in the meantime, if you haven't heard our episode from Thursday, I know we don't do a lot of post promo here, but I can't say enough about how proud I am of us stepping outside of our comfort zone and knocking out the Tiger documentary review.
That was a fun conversation. We went like a little bit over an hour. I felt like we could have gone too easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover on that doc. Pretty good stuff. And yeah, our conversation was a lot of fun.
I admittedly have only seen part 1. I watched part 1 last night. I'd been putting it off because I was just so afraid of Tiger being ruined for me by this documentary. It turns out part 1 didn't ruin Tiger for me. It just ruined Earl for me.
A lot of people were saying that they were a little too hard on Tiger. But he some of it was earned. Like he's done some shit.
Yeah.
And he got caught in his career, which was on pace to be the best of all time, got completely derailed.
I'll say this going into episode 2, make a mental note of where you have Tiger at right now. Make a mental note of where you have the National Enquirer in your personal opinion. And then post episode 2, let me know who remains closer to their original watermark. But
I like that.
Go check that episode out. Also, shop.washmedia.co.
Washmedia.shop?
There we go. Thank you. I'm glad we got a professional in here. Somebody find it. Go check that out. Dippy's out there in the wild. You should be doing this for Dippy as I am every day.
Getting some pictures roll in.
Yep.
People wearing the stuff out there.
I love the
Much
Dippy shirts
appreciated.
so much. We need a Dippy dog toy.
Dippy's got swag.
Man, I need it. Need it.
All the swag. I taught Parks the word swag over the weekend. He's really into it.
Does he do what his dad does and then just overuse it for the next 3 months?
Yeah. He was watching this YouTube show of this dude who's like a gamer. And I was like, he's just a He's a tool. I said, Parks, this dude has no swag. He said, what? What is swag? So now I'm going up to him like, dude, you don't have any swag either. And he's like, clenching fists at me and stuff. It's funny.
What, the Arthur meme?
Yeah, pretty much.
How many months away are we from Parks setting up a phone like down in the corner of the room and just checking his chain? And,
Oh my, dude, yeah.
What's up with the chain? Is his chain hanging low?
He
or
got
what?
he got a chain for Christmas from his grandmother.
Swag.
And has a little cross on it. It's swag. But he when I get him dressed in the morning, the first thing he does is reach in and like he pulls it out. I'm like, dude, who are you? Where'd you learn this?
I love that.
It's so funny. So yeah, we took pics on yesterday.
yeah.
His mom came to pick him up, and it was Stella's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Stella. I don't think she's listening, but in case. And we did pics in our front yard, and he's like, oh, hold on. And he pulls his chain out. Like, dude,
There it
come on.
is.
That's such a
That's
flex.
swag.
And the thing is, he tucked it in before just so he could pull it out and make a scene.
Yeah, exactly. When
Stunning.
he asked me what swag meant, I should have been like, remember earlier in the front yard when you pulled your chain out? That's what swag is.
Were the gutters overloaded in your neighborhood after that?
Oh, jeez.
Come on, dude. He's 5. What's your problem?
What we're trying to say is Rhodes has a good role model to look up to.
Oh, okay.
A cooler older cousin.
I think so. I think he'll be a good older friend.
I love it. Love it.
Parks
Maybe-
and Roads.
How old's Parks now?
He'll be 6 this month.
Maybe Parks will be in his 6th year of college and he'll like be able to haze Rose.
Yeah,
That'd be
tight.
sick. He's just a
6th year
super
of college.
senior
Oh, please no.
living at the house.
Please no.
That's that name. I don't know if y'all had older siblings at any point in the same school where, like, you get into class and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I had your brother or your sister.
Oh, you're gonna be trouble. Like,
I guess with your lesson,
okay.
they definitely would see that coming. They'd be like, there's no chance it was any other family.
Yeah.
We had the same thing, and luckily for me, my sister was very good in school.
Yeah.
Well behaved. She was great, and so I got to coast the entire time. It was beautiful. It's like, oh, you're Betsy's brother? Like, yes, I am. They loved it.
Let's dive in here.
Oh yeah, let's talk some NFL. There's a pretty big football game coming up this weekend, guys. We got the Super Bowl.
One thing that this past week has definitely made me realize is just what the next 6 months of like this. The NFL does a great job of filling in all the gaps with combine talk, draft talk, free agency, training camps back. They fill in the gap well. But this past week makes me realize like even terrible games, like I could do with a color rush game, like one Sunday a week because yesterday was brutal.
Yeah. So what you're saying is after Sunday, we're going to be without football for the next 6
months-ish or so,
6
yeah.
months or so. That's very unfortunate.
This early on, I mean, we will do our season finale of dip picks, and I've added in some prop bets to round out the number of things.
I
we'll
was
be
going to
picking on
pitch. We should
Thursday.
all pick like one prop bet we're really excited about and like kind of make that ours for Thursday's show.
Has to happen.
Yeah.
Has to
I love
happen.
a good prop bet.
Oh yeah, same here. And right now, I think the Chiefs are favored by 3.
Yep.
You know,
God, we got Mahomes Brady. That's awesome.
Feels good.
That's awesome. I'm really excited.
we'll dive in. We'll do a deep dive
Yeah.
on what we think will happen in the game. Maybe spend some of this time doing a little dig into the weekend's backlog. Will you have any feel for how that halftime show is going to look?
Man, I want the weekend to come out and actually have the full makeup on that he's
All the
been having
prosthetics.
lately. I want that. Like, I think that would be awesome, and it would be the weirdest way to. I feel like every Super Bowl show is like almost like a farewell, the cherry on top of a very good career of a lot of these people. Like Shakira's not putting out heat right now, is she? Unless I'm mistaken.
I don't
mean-
think so.
Don't get me wrong. Like I love Shakira. But, like, you know, her and J-Lo, they're not really putting out bangers anymore. But having them last year, you know, it was the cherry on top of their
forgot that was
career.
just-
People
sure.
people forget I saw JT perform at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's still rolling. But, you know,
No, he's not putting out heat anymore though. What's the last album he put out?
the last notable song that I could even name was "Can't Stop This Feeling."
I was going to say Trolls soundtrack. Yeah.
Let me tell you, watching a live performance inside, first of all, that stadium in Minnesota, it's bigger. I think it's bigger than Jerry World. It is absolutely massive. And I had to get binoculars out to even see JT on the other side of the field. It was.
You brought binoculars to the Super Bowl.
I didn't, but if I would have needed
On
them,
a stick.
I would have needed them.
Dave does
if
that,
I
right?
would. And I could barely hear. It was awful there. But
Acoustics
I
were
didn't.
bad?
Yeah, I didn't have front row seats, obviously.
That's lame.
So what I'm trying to say is, watching it on TV far superior than watching it inside a stadium like that.
Does the Weeknd have the catalog to fill this out? That's
Are
my
you
only
kidding? Are you
concern.
kidding?
Are they going to bring in other people?
Dude, the Weeknd has a lot of bangers.
The Weeknd definitely has some heat to bring. My concern is, how much heat does the Weeknd have that's not about sex or drugs to like
Zero.
overtly enough to like be played through?
Zero.
Like,
Yeah.
Like the
He'll have to-
subject,
he'll just-
like
He'll censor some,
Are
but
most of his songs about like sex and drugs? Like, I
cocaine,
feel like
100%.
specifically.
that dude
yeah.
loves doing coke. Like I just
He
feel
loves
like
it, yeah.
it's just going to be an interesting thing.
But I'm a mid-key Weeknd fan.
I like the Weeknd. I've had one opportunity to see him live in concert, and it was on Sunday of ACL. And I did what I do every Sunday of ACL. I don't go.
tap out.
Yeah,
I skip.
yeah.
I don't know, but the second he starts playing like some of the heat from the new album, like I'm going to be very, very happy.
I'm trying to find what award show it was, but am I
Starboy?
wrong in remembering that the Weeknd also? Oh, I'm sorry, I am wrong. Getting mixed up with Miguel. Miguel kicked a woman in the face at the Billboard Awards. I thought it was the Weeknd jumping over. You know though how the award show stages where it's like you've got a platform here and you're out on a little island, another platform. Miguel's was trying to make a move to jump from one platform back to the stage
Oh,
over
so
here.
accidental kicking. Then.
He caught a
okay.
face.
Oh yeah, came up a little short.
He caught a body.
Someone caught a shoe.
Are Miguel and the person that got kicked in the face, are they on good terms? Or
It's been 8 years, but you got to think they came away with more than just passes to the next Billboard Awards.
It gets a lot worse than the Weeknd. You know.
I am excited for the Weeknd
Yeah.
to be performing.
Yeah.
I don't want like some old dudes on stage playing some songs that we heard 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I want the new hits and I want some fun.
We had a
Me
good
too.
6 or 7 year run of like Tom Petty, Rolling Stones, all of that, and Aerosmith. I think was that one year where they threw like 7 different people on stage. I want the Weeknd to come out and blow it out of the water. I also don't want him to come back and like drive it to the point where they're like, all right, next year we're rolling out Beck.
Is this going to be live or pre-recorded?
No offense
since
to Beck.
Please no back.
it
I
gonna
think
be
it's
a-
going to be like every year. He's going to be in stadium. It's going to be live, but it's probably going to be on a significant delay.
Oh, okay.
Like they'll go to commercial.
I was just wondering
and
because
let
of
that bitch
COVID,
ride.
but they are having, I think, like 30% capacity in the stadium.
22,000 or so fans,
So I'm
25,000.
just wondering how the live part of that's going to play in, but I guess it's going to be pretty normal, so never mind.
Probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, ever since Janet Jackson, I think they have to do a significant delay on the halftime shows. Your boy was. I'm so pissed. I was chatting
She
on
popped the
MSN
titty
Messenger.
out.
I was chatting on MSN Messenger when that happened, so I completely missed it. Like second halftime came in, I was like, oh, I got to go talk to the ladies on MSN. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden I heard my dad just go like, "What?"
Yeah. It was kind of a big deal, turns out. A lot of people saw titty that day. They weren't expecting
It would have been probably the first time I ever saw it not on the computer screen.
What year was that?
Ooh,
2000. If I had to guess, 2002, 2003. So it
feels-
wasn't the first time I saw it not on a
Sounds
computer
about
screen.
right.
Feels
I had
about
seen
right.
American Pie at that point.
Cindy Margolis was known to be the most downloaded woman on the internet for years.
Yeah, that's right.
Janet snuck in and took that title soon after.
Wow. Big time.
So yeah, other than that, the NFL trade, or I guess the NFL trade, the big trade.
Big
I'm glad
time
we have Will
trade.
for this.
And it affects Will's Lions, of
It does
course.
affect my Lions.
So the Rams trade Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick to Detroit for Matt Stafford.
I'll yield the floor. And Will, as someone who, how long have you been a Lions fan? All of your
My entire
sports
life,
conscious
yeah.
life?
The first and only playoff win that I ever saw, I think, was in 1990. I was 3 years old.
To be clear, the first-round picks are 2022 and 2023.
Yes,
So-
they're not
Correct.
this year's
Right.
first round or anything.
and that's because they already traded their 2020 first-round pick.
for Jalen Ramsey.
They
yes.
haven't had aren't they not going to have a first round pick for like 6 straight years or something? What are they doing?
Between 2017 when they sent their first to the Titans, 2018 to the Patriots, 19 to the Falcons. Jags
Yeah.
have last
Yeah.
year's and this year's, and then Lions 22 and 23.
Awful.
That's a lot.
What do you think, Will?
I mean, so I've been a Matthew Stafford fan since before he was even a Lion. Like, I knew that the Lions would have a very good shot at having the first pick in the NFL draft when he was at Georgia. And so I followed Georgia pretty hard that entire season. I really enjoyed Matthew Stafford. I just thought it was going to be a franchise-altering pick. It turned out it was, I guess. But at the end of the day, my group chat is very, very divided on this. But at the end of the day, I'm ready for him to go. I'm sorry, but like, you've had one playoff win.
Yeah, I mean,
No, he's had 0 playoff wins, 2 playoff appearances. Granted, he played the Cowboys and the Saints absolutely blew us out, and the Cowboys won off of a couple bad calls.
and I mean, obviously, it's much more about the guys around him than it is him.
Yes.
I think he is a pretty good to very good NFL quarterback.
Is Jared Goff like the replacement? I don't know.
I'm confused by this trade, honestly. To me, it seems like the Lions made out like bandits here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Jared Goff, not only is he a lot younger than Matt Stafford, he's good. Like, he was a first overall pick. Is he first overall good? I don't know, but he's definitely a good quarterback. And all these picks to go along with him, I want the Lions side if I'm on this trade.
You definitely want the Lions side. I think the Rams got fleeced. Like, you just can't. I don't think you give that up for Matt Stafford.
And I did think Stafford was older than he actually is. He's only 32. I got 34, 35 vibes from him.
I was trying to make a case in my group chat to like the guys that I was talking to. I was trying to make a case like, no, he's old. And I was like, oh, he's 32.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's like 50.
And that's, I think, what's screwing up a lot of people's approach to, like, okay, what's the longevity of this career going to look like for all quarterbacks right now? Because of what Drew Brees has done. Aaron Rodgers is, 36? Drew Brees just retired at 40, 41, I guess. Phillip Rivers played until his late 30s. So it's becoming more and more the norm of quarterbacks who don't suffer significant knee injuries. Even those that do are able to come back and play into their early 40s serviceably, assuming they didn't rely heavily on the run. So if I'm the Rams, I get Matt Stafford with 2 years left on his contract, relatively favorable contract. Like, it's not like they're spending more money at the quarterback position than they were with Goff. Goff had a huge contract as well, and he was stuck for 4 years. So you've got Stafford for about, I think it's like $42 million remaining on a 2-year deal. If you can re-sign him, I think the value of this trade goes up precipitously, to use a huge word here.
Wow, dude.
But if Goff is gone, I'm sorry, if Stafford's gone and things don't pan out or work for him, then the Rams are going to look like idiots. I don't care about a first-round pick if I've still got a franchise quarterback that's performing at a top 10 level.
Definitely a higher risk on the Rams side. Mm-hmm. The Lions, if Goff doesn't work out, okay, well, we got 3 other picks to go along with it, including 2 first-rounders in the next couple of years. Let's go after a quarterback.
Yeah. Mind you, the Rams, the rest of the team is reasonably solid. You've got a very young running back in Cam Akers.
No, they're good. That's a good football team.
A top 3 defense, I think they were 4th in defensive efficiency, but a top-performing defense with the number 1 player in the NFL, arguably with Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey, one of the top 3 corners in the league. And you've got serviceable people around them on the defense. The big question I've got for them is they're going to need some staples on that offensive line to hold this all together. Andrew Whitworth, longtime Bengal, but it's been with the Rams. I think he's going to retire. So if they can figure out their tackle position, then
they're going to have to do it all without any first-round picks.
Exactly. They may not, quote-unquote, have needed these picks. So either McVay is going to come out looking like Bill O'Brien or, the next Belichick.
Well, if I'm you, I'm excited about this.
I was getting really excited for Justin Fields being our quarterback. I was like all in for some reason, and now I'm like, okay, I guess I get to pivot to Goff. But like, for me, my Lions fandom has taken a big hit since moving to Texas. We get 0 nationally televised games down here. Because of my shitty cable access, I don't have Red Zone, and so I have to illegally stream it. And I've been put in a position these last few years where the Lions get off to a real shit start, and my inspiration to watch them goes way downhill. Yeah. That being said, I had no faith in Patricia, and with the new regime here, I think I'm more in than ever. Like, if we're biting kneecaps, and I want a mouthful. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Both kneecaps, too.
But I wish Stafford the best. Like, it's not the way that I look at this trade from a Lions fan perspective is that I've seen my 2 favorite Lions of all time, for a lot of people, have been Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, and both stopped their careers early because they were tired of losing with the Detroit Lions. I don't want Matthew Stafford to have to make that decision in his life. I want him to go somewhere, be successful. There is a 100% chance that I will watch as many Rams games next season as Lions games, especially if the Rams are better than the Lions.
Which they will be.
Yeah. So I will be watching Matthew Stafford closely for the next few years, next few seasons.
Fair. I think the only other factor that plays in here, Micah did make the statement or ask the question, is Jared Goff the least likely quarterback to bite a man's kneecap in a fight? I think that's fair. Josh Rosen might have some things to say about that, but
he seems pretty. I don't know if soft is the right word, but he's not a
fit in California.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Very mellow.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Not a
Are
big,
they going to be
not a big
biting kneecaps in
personality.
practice and stuff?
You got to think. You got to practice somehow.
I don't think you. I feel like they should make a rule for that.
it's clear to me that the Lions are making this decision so that they can give themselves time to build around the future quarterback, which I think is good. Most teams in this situation, you would jump out of Justin Fields, have nobody else to put around him. The Lions actually do have, I think, one Pro Bowl lineman on their team, and you've got T.J. Hawkinson, but they're several parts away from being competitive, especially with where the Packers are, and who knows what the Bears actually are, and the Vikings also good enough just to split games each year. So.
Any chance they still go after Fields or somebody early?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can do that, and somebody else will take Goff. Goff isn't a Josh Rosen. He definitely regressed since the Super Bowl. I think he was tied for second in interceptions over the last 2 years, and now this might be Sean McVay saying, hey, a lot of these picks were Jared Goff's problem and not, circumstance. But at the same time, Sean McVay's in control of decision-making for player personnel in the Rams, and you've got a lot of money out there that's owed to Todd Gurley and to Jared Goff. So, who's the genius,
Right.
You can't say it's them until this works out. I don't know.
Okay.
One other, I think that's all we need for NFL. Let's wait till the chips fall with Deshaun Watson. Aaron Rodgers is going nowhere. The Packers reiterated that. The Texans are digging in, saying that Watson's not going anywhere. So maybe we're not seeing the NBA style free agent or off season as far as moving all these stars at quarterback as people hoped we would.
I love a good awkward standoff between star players and
Deshaun Watson.
It's just
watching Harden Houston from afar, not having any investment. I loved it.
Watching
I actually enjoy this.
Watching Harden take the floor, knowing that he doesn't want to be there, no one wants him there, but he's got to be there. It's just so awkward, and if it's not my team, I really enjoy it.
It's great. It's great.
Watson, man. Yes, it really looks like they're not going to move him.
Mm-mm. And right now, he just signed a 4-year deal for $150 million or somewhere in that ballpark. And as it stands, if the Texans wanted to be assholes about this, Watson can retire, and the Texans own his rights. You unretire, and because he's 25 right now. Though that contract's still valid once you come out of retirement, they still own your rights. And then they could franchise him 3 times after that. So they've got him for up to 7 years if they wanted to dig in here. So he's not going anywhere without, Cal McNair being happy about it. Yeah. So somebody's got to be more desperate than, I won't say than the Rams were, but it's going to cost a lot more to get a 25-year-old Deshaun Watson than a 32-year-old Matt Stafford. That really screws the market, and I don't see that happening. Golf time. What the hell?
Golf time.
Yeah, I had to reluctantly remind Dave that, Patrick Reed won a tournament on the same weekend Rhodes was born.
That was a ruthless text last night.
But we can try and forget about it.
Yeah, in the circling back text last night, it's just me, Dylan, Dave. It's it's what it is. And Dylan just hit Dave with such a rude text.
I know, I feel bad. Well, he loves Victor Hovland. Hovland, how you say it? Hovland?
I don't know.
And he was threatening for, early on Sunday. I was like, it'd be tight if Victor won the same weekend that Rhodes was born, but it did not work out that way.
Yeah, Dylan sent a text last night at around, was this last night or the? Yeah, it was last night.
Yeah.
It just says, we don't have to talk about Patrick Reed winning on Rhodes' birth weekend. Dude, what's your problem?
He took it well.
Dave was thinking about Reed Ruff.
No, he wasn't. Was he really?
No, that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
What tournament was this? Let me say for
Farmers Insurance Open.
How important is this tournament relative? Obviously, not a major, but relative to the other non-majors
First
people
big,
typically care about this tournament?
yes, it's one of the first. It's the first big tournament of the year where you get the big names. You get your. I mean, obviously not this time, but that's where you get Tiger. That's where you get everyone big, and it also helps that it's always held at Torrey Pines.
Which everyone loves.
Yes, like I mean, because a lot of golf enthusiasts have played Torrey Pines because it's a public course you can get onto, and as someone who's played, I mean, you've played it,
Yeah.
numerous times.
Just once. South course.
Like, but it's fun to watch and see see that kind of stuff. And you can even go to Torrey Pines these days, and especially now, and you can actually hit from some of the tee boxes they hit off of there because they're still there, and it just shows you the gap between people like us and the pros. So it's one of my favorite tournaments to watch. I actually didn't catch a lot of it this weekend because of just circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's one of those tournaments that whenever I see it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the majority of this.
It certainly shows almost as well as any course I can think of if I'm just passing through, and nobody's clicking through channels these days. But if I just turn on golf, I'm like, okay, where are they playing? What who's playing? Who's in the lead? Like you see Torrey Pines on TV, you're like, okay, I'll stop down and watch like this Game of Thrones-esque course. Obviously, it's in Southern California, not in Ireland. Is Jim Nantz traveling for this, or is he just walking out his backyard and hopping on the car?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, you could probably just hop out and just go chill.
This is where he lives, right? I'm not mixing that up with another course.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I
Where he
believe
lives.
Are you sure
Nance-
it's not Pebble?
Maybe he lives at Pebble.
He might live at
I'm
Pebble.
glad you're correcting me there because I was like, I know he lived at one of the two because we got that video 2 or 3 weeks back where he was calling some randos like shot in Jim Nance's voice and that like made their day.
Oh, really?
They were just happened to be playing
Oh,
as
I
he
gotta
was like
watch that.
walking
That
the dog.
sounds
Or
awesome.
Yeah,
something.
it's Pebble where Nance lives.
Okay.
That's the place where he actually has a hole like
Yes.
out of his thing. Yeah, it must be nice.
same but different.
The
So
Vineyard Vines collection paid for that hole.
the internet blew up on Saturday?
Saturday.
To use a real good cliche, because Patrick Reed,
Known cheater.
known cheater. Okay,
He is.
I'll die.
The sand deal.
We'll come
Okay.
back to that here briefly. Patrick Reed did something on 10? Is that the hole that this went down on?
I'm not
know.
sure
I
which one it
think
was.
so.
I think it's 10. If it's not, I'll go F myself.
That's not necessary.
Dude, details stink.
I watched this. I'm going to explain this from a non-golf person's point of view.
Okay.
Patrick Reed, bigger guy, hateable face, has won the Masters before. According to legend, has a spouse who's very involved in his life and basically Aaron Rodgers and him away from the rest of his family. All of these things so far check out. Is not going to attract the most grace from golf fandom if something were to be controversial. And in this case, there was a lot of rain the day before, so they were enacting. They were going with the rule that basically if you have an embedded ball, you were allowed to drop the ball within a club length of where the ball was embedded. Embedded meaning below the natural lying surface of the ground, correct?
Correct.
However, if a ball bounces,
By definition, that's not a plug.
then that's not something that you can
Right.
take advantage of this rule, correct?
Yeah.
The ball would have to not bounce and stick into the ground. And if it bounces, that's just an indicator that
It didn't.
no
stick.
ball
Yeah.
can stick into the ground after a bounce.
Even off of concrete, or it just wouldn't matter. Like,
I don't think it would even matter. I don't think even off concrete, I think the velocity change would be so significant that it would just be really hard unless it literally went into like the muddiest of grass.
Right.
Probably
And-
like
Agreed.
Dylan's backyard, like that, like grass that's never taken care of.
That's not that fair, but
unnecessary
okay.
shots.
Okay.
And I don't mean the concrete that's visible if you've seen the video here, because obviously you're not going to bounce a ball and it's going to land a foot away. All right. So Patrick Reed walks up to the ball. He asks somebody who was standing there, me, golf idiot. I thought that was someone who worked the event. Apparently it was just a volunteer.
Okay.
As he's approaching, he says, did it bounce? They say no. Very audibly, very clear. Patrick Reed walks up. Either she marked it, the person he asked, or he marked it. In the press conference, he says the volunteer had already marked the ball. He picks up the ball, checks the spot, sets the ball down where he wants it later, and then calls over a rule official. To me, I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Seems weird. But then the announcers were pointing out that there was something awry. And then smart people tell me what the hell happened that mattered so much after that.
Will knows this better than I do. because I kind of.
Why was this
lost
an
as
issue?
well.
I guess the order of events.
Because he essentially
Because you call the official over after you picked up the ball. Is
yes,
that why?
so he what he should have done, and what you're supposed to do is leave the ball embedded so that somebody can make the official ruling that it was embedded. Instead, he relied on a volunteer to essentially say like, "Oh, it didn't bounce," and then from there he just removed all evidence. And so, whether or not the ball was embedded, you can just never absolutely know. And the circumstances that came out of this were that he got to drop within a club length. He got to drop in a very favorable section. I mean, for people like us, it doesn't really matter what the grass is doing. For pro golfers, if you can set your ball in the grain of the grass and do whatever, you're going to be in a much better position around the green to put a chip close than what you would if your ball is absolutely
it's a huge
buried in the rough.
Yeah.
And so, because he essentially just got rid of all the evidence, that's when everyone started getting up in arms over it, which they should be.
And there's a precedent has been set with Patrick Reed. It's not like some first-time offender going out there and just screwing up. Like, this dude has been caught before.
I watched the video of the Hero tournament or whatnot. That's where he basically dug his way out of the sand.
Yeah, so
with
he
a couple practice
smoothed
swings,
out
right?
behind the ball. He smoothed out with his wedge.
Okay.
That, to me, that was almost more egregious than what he did this time.
It was because it was very obvious what you're doing.
And he did it twice.
I'm not sure. If
Like,
he did it
or
twice.
at least on the video I saw today, like he went back with a practice swing, moved sand, reset, moved sand again, and then took his shot. So that
it was
stood
clear.
out to me like, okay, you can't do that.
It was clear what he was doing. Yeah.
Like, just to be clear, like if I overshoot a ball on a green, am I able to go back and stop it with my foot if I can catch up to the ball? I mean,
you can just kick
that's
it in the
my
hole.
understanding.
You can just kick it in the hole if you want to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Little foot wedge.
With the Patrick Reed situation, is it more what's giving him the bigger advantage? Being out of the depth of the rough or the angle from where he dropped the ball? Because in the audio, it seemed like he was trying to make a bigger deal of like, oh, we should certainly set it here because this, like he was talking about the angle way more than the lie with his caddy and with the official. And he's like, do you confirm this is okay? And I don't know if he was just trying to blow some smoke bullshit after he knew what he just did.
The vibe that I got from him, and I could be completely off on this, the vibe that I got was that he was doing that just to move on and not let a conversation occur. The rules official you can see. So the PGA Tour, in the spirit of transparency, which I think we can all get behind, is one of the most transparent companies in the world.
Of course.
The PGA Tour put out an entire recap of what happened. Mm-hmm. And so that's fine and everything. But the rules official that was standing there in the 4.5-minute video that they put out on Twitter, he's just kind of standing there silent the entire time. And I feel like you can see his wheels turning like, oh man, this might come down and bite me at some point. Like, this just doesn't look good.
Okay.
But I got the feeling that they were just trying to move it along so that they didn't even have to have that discussion anymore.
When did this become not the cheating, but when did at-home guy with the phone calling into tournaments, like I remember a couple of different instances in the past, like when did the fans become so involved in like trying to become like, hey, that guy's cheating, like make a big deal of this to the point where the PGA has to respond? Like how recent is that?
I don't know. I mean, with social media, everyone has a voice now.
Helps,
but yeah, there was I believe it was an LPGA event, like the most egregious example of that. Some woman like marked her ball on the green, and then when she replaced it, she had it like half an inch or an inch off from where it's supposed to be. Or maybe she marked it in the wrong spot or something.
I don't even know if she marked it. I think she just pointed at the ball and said, this is where it was. And then he asked her if it bounced. And
no, I'm talking about something else.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And some dude called in like, hey, she marked the ball in the wrong spot. Like, what a dickhead. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't just you can do that, but it's like, what's your problem?
What are you gaining from this?
How much money do you have on the guy in second right now?
Okay, so then that answers my question as far as like I get, yes, a rule was broken. Patrick Reed ended up winning the tournament by 4 or 5 shots in the end. Victor Hovland choked his way out of this on Sunday.
Being close.
So obviously, in that point, Saturday, you don't know that that's going to be the outcome, and you want to be on the up and up. But people seem to be so over the top angry at this, and I was like, okay, why? But I didn't think about the fact that not just purity of sport, but the gambling part is a big fucking deal.
And just because it's Patrick Reed.
Okay.
And people hate Patrick Reed.
So you think that's
including
bigger
guys
than...
on tour. It has a lot to do with it for sure. If someone extremely likable did this, if Tommy Fleetwood did this, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
People are going to call it out,
yeah,
but people aren't going to be pissed off like
because
this.
McElroy apparently had a similar thing.
Exactly.
I only know this because fucking Patrick Reed's Twitter account screamed it in all caps.
Well, noted friend of the pod, Tron Carter from NLU, said at some point you have to accept that the guy's a complete sociopath and just tip your hat. And it's like, he kind of Patrick Reed afterwards misrepresented what the rules official said to him in the post-round presser. And it's just a bad look. Like, you can't just cover up when there's cameras on you all the time.
Yeah.
And so whatever happened, what didn't happen, it's just people are going to pile on Patrick Reed much faster because it's Patrick Reed.
Of course.
And I understand it. Like, remember when we were at Grand X and we got an advanced copy of that Slaying the Tiger book? Do you remember that?
No.
You might have not gotten. I don't think everyone got one, but if you went out and wanted one, they would get you one.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Patrick Reed section was about his time at the community college.
Augusta State?
Yeah, whatever it was, and how his teammates hated him there, the things that he did there.
Well, he started at Georgia.
Yes. And
Transferred
then
to
went,
Augusta.
Yeah. And so it was a lot about those teammates not liking him and the things that he did. And, whether or not all that's fair is up to whoever wants to believe it. But he has such a bad reputation that he just needs to understand you can't you can't open yourself up to looking even worse. But at this point, he doesn't care. I don't think he gives a shit.
I watched the press conference, and so me not knowing every detail of his past, mission accomplished. Mm-hmm. He looked at the camera, was answering the questions, and I know the guy isn't likable or well liked, but the way that he framed the conversation after having watched the video too, I was like, okay, well, he said that she marked it. I didn't see that happen. I did see him walk up, ask a person who was standing right where the ball was. Did it bounce? No. And then that little differentiation was important because then later that rules official certainly did come up and utters the question oh, okay, you already moved it?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think that's the part that Will's talking about. His wheels were fucking moving at knowing he's going to be the center of attention.
And of course, all this brings to light his what we think is a burner account.
Yes, this is the real.
This is where I sit back
This I've heard about this for years though. This isn't a super new development.
Okay.
But anytime, of course, there's any kind of controversy around the guy, people start their buzz, picks up again.
What got him caught? The all caps Rory tweet, or was there something else that was also sent?
Well, like I said, there's been rumor of this for a long time now because there's an account. I think it's like Golf Facts or something.
It's called Golf Facts, and the @ is @USE Golf Facts.
And this account basically just spins every tweet defending Patrick Reed on stuff.
They defend Patrick Reed. They talk shit about other players. After the whole Justin Thomas thing, I think they had some tweets just ripping him.
I think even it has claimed to have inside knowledge of stuff that only people inside the camp would know. It's kind of revealing that a little bit.
One of the most ridiculous tweets I saw from them from the weekend was that they were complaining. This was an old tweet, but they were complaining when they released the PGA 2K21 video game, and this account was chirping them for only using Justin Thomas on the cover and how they need to have more people on the cover. And it's really, dude? And then they started making fun of Justin Thomas's outfit on the cover, saying that it wasn't patriotic or something, which if you know Patrick Reed, he loves wearing patriotic colors.
Okay.
It's just dude, we get it.
Yeah, there's a speculation that it's run by his wife, which I don't know if anyone can confirm or not. But yeah, this account and Patrick Reed's official verified account tweeted out the exact same thing in all caps.
To see it.
Was the Rory tweet that you mentioned earlier.
And left it up there. At least left up the Patrick Reed account tweet. I don't know about the other one.
Now, it is conceivable that it's just some super fan who's copy and pasting shit that Patrick Reed says and just wants to defend him at all costs.
Yeah.
Possible.
But they tweeted it from Patrick Reed's account.
But
he's saying
right. I'm saying they could have just copy and pasted he's saying this, I'm going to say it too. I'm saying I don't know. We don't know. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's all speculation.
It was in a thread of other tweets from that other account from the PGA stats, whatever. That was responding to things, and then all of a sudden Patrick Reed jumped in in the 6th reply,
responding to Golf Digest.
Yes. It's
Rory
not a
did
good
the
look.
same all caps and didn't even call a rules official over to deem the ball embedded. End of story. What? Okay.
Which, again, that proves your point earlier. If you're a likable guy, you're not the face of the weekend. But also, Patrick Reed winning, I think, helps keep this a prominent story.
It's also just don't. people were saying like, okay, Rory did it, but like also Rory doesn't have the reputation of bending the rules and making himself like giving himself better positions and doing whatever and enhancing his lies. Like the reason that Patrick Reed is getting piled on for is because this has happened time and time again, and it's just like it just is insane to me.
Yeah, if you kind of just own shit, apologize for it. Society is very forgiving on stuff like that.
He is the least apologetic person.
Yeah, he's just like, nah.
He learned a lot over the last 4 years. 63 days out from Masters Week, so, right around the corner.
I can't wait.
Yes.
God.
Oh,
Are we
boy.
going?
It's hard to say at this point.
Are you waiting for Dave to come back so you can announce that you somehow have some like backdoor thing to?
I've learned my lesson. I will never go without you guys again.
Thank you. You can, as long as you just don't like break it to us
As long as I
that
actually,
the company
like,
that
pay
we
my
all
way.
work for is sending you and not us.
I'm going
As
to
long as Natty
throw
Light's not paying for it.
a yellow card out here, and not just Ocean Avenue. I will say that if he breaks the news that he has tickets to this year's, that means he's been holding off for a year, because I'm pretty sure the people going this year were the ticket holders from last year. So
It's fair.
that would be a finesse. Where it's like, hey,
No,
I'm telling you guys as soon as you knew.
You know, our last year at Grand X, there was some chatter that we were going to get invited back.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I was like, well, okay, if we go again, obviously Dave and we'll have to go. And I said, if we get the green light to go, if we get invited, let me have some fun with them and, like, re-break the same news. And then after you guys get pissed off, be like, you guys are going to. That would have been super tough.
Part of me on that episode when the Masters came up, I was like, is Dylan about to like tell us that we're going to the Masters live on air? And then it was, no, it's the complete opposite.
I'm going.
the
You guys
complete
are going to be
opposite.
watching from home.
Whatever. At least saw. Who'd you see, Sergio?
Sergio.
At least it wasn't like Tiger or Spieth or something.
Right.
All right, let's do some quick
me.
tips.
Turn it up.
Let's go.
Right off the top,
Footy.
Will,
What's up?
the fuck's happening with, hold on, let me get this right. You corrected me earlier. What's happening with Barca?
Barca. Yeah, I guess so. Messi's wages got leaked. $550 million over the course of his entire contract. That seems like a pretty lucrative contract.
Wait, who's this? Messi?
Lionel Messi, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is his signed in 2017, about to expire this year contract.
Yeah, so his contract is up this year, and which means that if they don't re-sign him, he is free to go wherever, and Barcelona gets no money for him, and that's not great for Barcelona.
Okay.
And so it's very likely that if he does not stay at Barcelona, which I don't think he will, that he will either go to Paris, PSG, or Manchester City to
Really?
link and build with his old coach who they won a lot together, Pep Guardiola. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how this all pans out. I personally, even though I absolutely hate Manchester City, I would love it if he kind of went to the Premier League. I think it'd be really fun for everybody involved. It would probably make City be absolutely unbelievable for a couple years at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, they already are really good. They're probably going to win this year. But everyone's very mad about this, and now it's saying that they're like Messi's going to sue them.
Well, what would this do, bigger picture, I guess, to La Liga? Like, if Messi goes to Premier League, like, would it have any material impact on La Liga's like viability to remain independent?
I think it would. I think the biggest effect is just that the eyes aren't on it anymore. Ronaldo leaving Madrid last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and Messi leaving. It just kind of. What are you looking at now? Like, who are the big names that you don't know anymore?
Which the timing of,
For the casual fan, for the casual fan. I mean, I don't watch much La Liga anyway because the teams that I want to watch are the top of the table teams, and they are the teams that we all want to watch. It's Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico. I don't even. I hardly ever watch it.
Okay.
It's just not something you watch unless it's Champions League because it's not readily available in the United States. So you really have to be a hardcore fan to seek out that and actually watch it.
So as far as like TV access, like they're not one that's going to be suffering due to the pandemic and ad revenue loss. Like every league out there is.
Yes.
Is my understanding. I mean, most leagues, or not most leagues, most teams and clubs are suffering financially. Same can be said for NFL, baseball, everywhere. But I know with the fragmentation of soccer, like things are a little bit more unstable than most. So with this Messi situation, could this impact his desire to remain with Barcelona? Like,
He was already ready to leave.
Okay.
So at the beginning of this season, they were having a major issue, and he wanted to leave. Like it was Messi's pretty private.
okay,
But he did want to leave. It was rumored. And so for him to even keep playing, there were jokes like, yeah, if he has got like an important PK at the end of a game sometime, that he's just going to blow it over just to fuck over Barcelona and be like, fuck you guys.
not good.
Yeah. And so it was that kind of vibe. And so him just being there and kind of playing on this team that is kind of decimated compared to the years previous, it just hasn't been a good situation for a long time. And as far as major clubs go, Barcelona is one of the clubs that was already kind of in a bad financial situation.
Right.
And the pandemic just made it exponentially worse.
I did see the note they were like 1.3 billion euros in debt, and so if it comes out that they've paid Messi half of that over the last 4 years, I can see how some people be a little salty.
Tough scene.
They also fired their president. The president left the team sometime in the fall. Did that have to do with the Messi situation as well?
I believe so. Yeah, admittedly, I didn't follow it as closely as I probably should have, just because I'm not super invested in La Liga.
Yeah.
But the club revolves around Messi, and if you're not on Messi's side, then you're probably going to make some enemies. But now things have just gotten so bad at Barcelona that I don't really know how it's going to pan out. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Look at that.
I wish I was. Admittedly, I wish I was better with La Liga. It's just one of those leagues that falls by the wayside for me. I go by TV coverage. NBC has EPL, ESPN has Bundesliga.
Yep.
And the Italian league,
Germany?
La Liga's,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
and La Liga's just harder. It's harder for me to find unless I'm mistaken. But it's just not a league that I watch much of.
It's got a tight ass name though.
Dave loves La Liga.
A lot of leagues, man.
There's a lot of leagues, Dylan. It's like just think of it as like divisions in football.
MLS is trash, isn't it? Like,
No.
It's just trash.
Verde.
It's not great, but there's also rumors of like a lockout happening in the MLS, which would not be great for our boys in the Verde. You see the New Jersey?
They trying to get paid?
Not New Jersey, but did you see the new jersey?
No.
That they released? Yes, I showed it to you.
Is it
The-
dope? The white one?
The white one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's clean.
They have a cool sponsor, man. Yeti's cool.
Yeti's cool.
Their marketing team is doing it.
They're
doing well.
teasing their new jerseys a little too much, where it's kind of pissing me off as a wannabe fan. Like, I'm like, okay, just give me the jersey. Like, I want to see it, and I want to maybe buy one if it's cool enough.
Or, send one to the studio. We'd accept all free kits from Austin FC. In
Absolutely.
more hyper niche news, Liberty Christian High School in Argyle, Texas. Argyle, for those not local to DFW, is a suburb of Denton, basically just north of the DFW airport, located between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's a tiny little school with a lot of money, and they are a private school, so they do some recruiting. They've got a new head coach. Their head coach, I guarantee, will have less than 5 yards after the catch next year, because they just hired Jason Witten right out of retirement of the NFL as their new head coach. Could you have played for, I don't know, Craig Biggio in high school is like your high school coach?
How cool is this for these kids?
It's
incredible.
It's awesome.
It really is. And I know it's on here already, but Phillip Rivers is going to coach somewhere in Alabama?
Yeah, in Alabama. And I had to look this up because I'd never heard of Fairhope. And I didn't realize Phillip Rivers was from northern Alabama, from Decatur. It's like his hometown.
Dude, playing for a coach that's 1 year removed from playing in the NFL,
Sick.
that is awesome.
What?
Like, I would be going crazy if I was these kids.
What is Philly Riv doing though? Why are you going from
Dude, this dude loves football.
He's downgrading his life just for
Yeah,
football.
he's
He's
about to
going from Southern California
make $45K
to
next year.
Indianapolis
Yeah.
to Alabama. Dude, stop. Retire in Southern California and enjoy yourself.
You think he's going to ride from game to game in the back of that same Suburban that was retrofitted to have film room up there for him?
He
'Cause
should.
He lived in San Diego whenever they played in LA. And it was noted to where he would just be riding from San Diego to LA watching film in the back of a van and had somebody drive him each day.
I kind of love that.
It's a pro move. I'm not shocked about Phillip Rivers because at this point, you got to imagine half his kids could fill out a roster. The man's got 17 children.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question about Jason Witten and Liberty Christian. Why did Liberty Christian, in their announcement, why did they tweet this with a grainy family photo from a beach in Seaside, Florida?
It's funny you say Seaside because Jason Witten annually takes trips to Watercolor
Does he?
I only know
You
that.
you can tell by the beach here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably Seaside.
It is Seaside Watercolor. The local sports talk host in Dallas would run into Jason Witten on the beach every year around like beginning of August.
Like
or
this,
so.
this picture's hanging above his fireplace at home. You know?
Yeah, like it's in like a bathroom
It's just
somewhere.
a weird choice for this story.
That's what they had to run with. You got to think that it's not the intimidating. I mean, if you're a private high school, you're probably not going for the, hey, we just brought in all football all the time coach. Like we brought in all American family man.
We got a fan, but like they chose like they took a screenshot of the photo proofs that the photographer sends you,
Yeah.
and they like cropped out the watermark. It just doesn't make sense. It's just such a grainy ass photo.
Man.
Good looking family though.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about that?
Are there? Here's another question I have regarding Liberty Christian. So are they?
Greg Warren's not happy about the hire.
Do they have Argyle print on their jerseys?
Dude, you gotta
Okay,
think.
sir.
That would be
You
swag.
gotta think. If not, missed opportunity.
It would be awesome.
Gotta think if your life puts you to be the first reply in a small private high school's tweet saying hiring a guy with no coaching experience as head coach, this program has really gone downhill. If that's your life, that's saying a lot. I best of luck to the Trinity Liberty Christian, probably Eagles. I have no idea.
The Argyle. They're just a pattern.
They're just the Argyle. I like it, like the Stanford Cardinal. Philip Rivers, his school that he's coaching at is actually not far from Seaside. Well, actually, it is. It's over near Gulf Shores.
To all our
down by
Seaside
Mobile.
listeners, I want to give a big shout out to my favorite restaurant in Seaside, Pickles.
Pickles.
Okay.
If you name your restaurant after Pickles, I'm in.
Do they have a dope pickle?
They got really good fried pickles.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
If you have a restaurant named Pickles and your fried pickles aren't on point, then what are you doing?
I'm wearing my family Thanksgiving T-shirt from Seaside, Florida. Seaside trip next time I'm in here.
If you ever go to Seaside, you have to get out of there with one of those Seaside shirts that everyone
And a
has.
38 sticker. It's absolute must. People got to know you vacation.
You want to go Seaside with me sometime, Dylan?
I'll go.
I've only been once.
You
It
know,
was
last
fun.
time you went, you didn't invite me. You just invited the Russ.
Well, I was 19.
Oh. I'm thinking about your other Florida trip that you didn't invite me on.
That was a drunk planning trip, and I did not have anything to do with it, Dylan.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Tennessee, while we were out, also made their head coaching hire. I don't think we talked about this on Thursday at all, did we?
I don't think so.
Okay, so last time we discussed this, Tennessee had fired their coach for wearing a bonnet throughout the season. Actually, it came out that the Tennessee coaching staff was paying players by putting money in McDonald's bags and handing them out to players like at events, recruits and whatnot.
Love that.
So they cleaned house. Philip Fulmer retired.
Talk about a happy meal.
There we go. Conveniently around the same time. And they hired Danny White out of UCF. I think we did make note of that. There was a lot of rumbling as to who Tennessee would hire. Doesn't fucking matter. They just brought the UCF head coach too, Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel.
Do you like Josh Heupel?
I hate Josh Heupel.
Figured as
Josh Heupel, first of all, one of the ugliest throwing motions from a quarterback, a good quarterback you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
And at the top of my like this guy was a legit athlete list. He absolutely let himself go, and he played like not that long ago. He looks like absolute
How
shit.
is he a professional? How is he like an
he
athlete?
He was very good at OU. Like
It doesn't make
very
any
good.
sense.
Wait, he might be younger than half the quarterbacks we were just talking about in the NFL. How old is Josh
He just
Heupel?
looks like he stopped playing football and sat on a couch for 10 years. It's like, yeah, I'll start coaching football now. Like he just looks
42.
like absolute shit.
He doesn't
No
look
offense
good.
to Josh Heupel, who hopefully he's not
No, it's
listening.
just funny. It's just
Like, what are you doing, man?
And
Like,
you're doing that in Orlando.
yeah.
One of the youngest, largest campuses.
It's
in
just
the
weird to
country.
me when you're in an industry when you're constantly surrounded by people who are in peak physical condition at all times. How you just look like a sloppy mess.
Because, dude, like when you're a coach at like a Division I program and stuff, you're not working out anymore. You're just sitting there.
Yeah, what if I told you this guy, this guy?
I know,
was
it's hilarious.
Like
Like-
shredded at OU as quarterback.
It has nothing. To even,
what?
Like even take his body out of the equation when it comes to being a good athlete. Like just his face alone does not look like the face of a guy that's leading the charge down the field.
He looks
It's
like
great.
the last guy you'd pick for a 4-man scramble at a bachelor party. Like
It's like fuck, we got Josh.
he's like, fuck. He might make a couple putts for us, but that's it.
But he would make sure y'all got paid all of your correct winnings.
That's fine. Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
he definitely
fair.
looks like the guy that's going outside of Splitwise to remind you owe him
for sure.
something.
Yeah, he's
Just
sending you a reminder on the
just-
Venmo later that night.
So sloppy. Oh, yeah. Oh, here's a good picture of that throwing motion I was talking about. It's just the absolute worst throwing motion you'll ever see.
Does
on
he
a
throw the ball
quarterback.
sideways?
I was about to say,
what's
it
going-
looks like a shot put motion.
He doesn't bring his arm back at all. He's like shot puts it. It's
Randy
gross.
loves that
Is
we're
it better
giving
than
him all
my
these
throwing
pictures.
motion though? Still,
Yeah, no, yeah. Everyone's is better than
I've been
his.
getting really self-conscious about my throwing motion at the dog park lately.
It's not the throwing motion
you need one of
that
those launchers.
anyone I think has an issue with. I thought it was the follow through to like the lean over, I'm not chasing them meme. That's all I remember from the video.
It was a tough scene. I was not wearing the right shoes. I'm blaming the shoes.
I think that's also the video I realized that J-Bone wasn't 5'4". Again, I've never met the man in person, so
God, I hate Josh Heupel.
that surprised me.
Also, probably because he went like 4-0 against Texas.
I
this
think
time,
so.
right?
I was about to say, let's not
What
get
year-
into
what year did
Jason
he play?
White's history either.
There, I remember watching Josh Heupel. I just don't remember like
Early
the actual
2000s, I want to say.
Yeah, that's kinda what-
Something like
yeah,
that.
whatever. Let's do math. I guess 20 years ago ish.
Yeah.
2022.
Anyway,
so, yeah, 98,
good for
2000.
Tennessee, I guess.
Other news also. I'm sorry. No, the USC hire here. Josh Heupel, Tennessee. We've talked about search firms being involved here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for those who don't know, in the other part of my days, I work for quote unquote a search firm in the healthcare world. No part of my job includes if I was to identify a person for a position that we would be due in the ballpark of $120,000
Right.
for identifying said person. It ain't that damn hard for me to say, hey, let's just hire the best person from the smaller pond down the street, Danny White / Josh Heupel. And they are due to earn $240,000 here. This is just my outward plea that if you work for this firm, holler at your boy.
I feel like any of us could make a hire at that level.
Yeah.
Well, as KJ like sort of explained a few weeks back, it's more to it than that. Like you're also like the scapegoat if shit goes south.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we didn't do anything as our search firm.
And you can,
That's fair.
You can make calls that you otherwise couldn't. You know, Texas doesn't give a fuck. So let's excuse them from this story that like you don't want what happened at Texas to happen. Reports: Texas has offered Urban Meyer the job. He declined. They offered Urban Meyer the job again. He declined. And you've got your head coach who you haven't fired. And eventually somebody said, yes, now you've got to fire, part ways with your head
Yeah,
coach.
if you use a
Like,
firm, you can like actually claim like we didn't actually contact Urban Meyer, and
Right.
you're not lying.
Okay.
This wasn't us,
okay.
like-
Okay.
you know, Chris Del Conte's name's not on the phone, the caller ID.
Imagine being the firm. I want to be the firm.
Yeah, this shit's tight.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Let's just
Pulling
open.
strings
let's
behind
just
the
open
scenes.
one.
Hey, watch
and
watch
it's not
Media
like-
Consulting.
It's not like the firm has Dylan Shivery and Dylan Shivery's the one in trouble. No, the firm's in trouble.
The firm.
Yeah, it's
The firm
fucking
fucked it
firm.
up.
No one knows the name of the firm.
It's Micah Weiner Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
Tate Martell.
33-year-old Tate Martell transferred again.
Again, I had to include the litany of his history just simply because I've heard Tate Martell's name what feels like for 7 years. I've never seen the man play football.
That's how I feel. Like, yeah, it's like, why do I know so much about Tate Martell?
This dude loves just living in different college towns across America.
What's not on here is
I wish
he
Dave was
transferred
here so
in
he
high
could
school.
make a joke about you right now so bad.
Oh, man.
You could have done it too.
No, man.
That's Dave's territory.
Tate Martell, who transferred, I think, maybe twice in high school and finished out his high school career in Las Vegas at, I think, similar high school that DeMarco Murray went to. Sounds about right.
Bryce Harper too, maybe.
Yep.
He's from there.
Committed to Washington in 2014. Changed his mind in 2015, committed to A&M. Nice little nugget on top of that is once he committed to A&M at the time, I think it was Nick Starkel was the only quarterback on the roster. Kellen Mond, I think, committed maybe the next year or something. And Tate Martell was in somebody's DMs or someone reached out saying, like, just decommit. You could go anywhere when referring to A&M. And Tate Martell says, no, the only person on that roster is Nick Starkel, and he's ass, and everybody knows it. So I could start easily as a freshman. Like, before he even got on campus was saying
Love
this
that.
in DMs.
Love
So
that.
That was great. Decommitted, decommitted the next year again, signed with Ohio State. Didn't play his freshman year. Justin Fields announces that he's leaving Georgia. They asked Tate Martell, like, hey, rumors are he's coming to Ohio State. How's this going to impact your commitment? Why would I be scared about someone who's never set foot on our campus and or played a single down for Ohio State?
Turns out
I'm the
it's
quarterback
Justin
for this
Fields, though.
team, and that's not changing. And he decommitted like a month later and transferred to Miami.
Yeah.
And then I think he got a chance to start.
No, he plays. He got some snaps.
He
for
got
sure.
some snaps. And then De'Aaron King transfers in from Houston. Tate Martell says, you know what? I'm all about the team. I'll move to wide receiver. He was there for 2 years, didn't play really much at wide receiver. Derek King gets hurt this year. That's the part of this story that throws me off. Is Tate Martell likely coulda, shoulda, woulda been the starting quarterback, but it sounds like maybe that wasn't in the cards. And he's transferring again. It's a grad transfer. So,
Any plans on playing quarterback this time?
all I see is first round grade.
Who had a more hateable face out of high school, Tate Martell or Jimmy Clausen?
Oh,
Dude, Jimmy Clausen was the worst.
The photo of Jimmy
With
Clausen
the 4 rings
with his hand, he
and
just
his hair spiked like 6 inches tall.
he's got like the full Jersey Shore haircut. But Tate martell also, like both of them, just look so hateable in high school.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Very chachi.
you know what Tate's short for? The best part of this story.
Taint?
Close. Tathan.
Really?
We just spent all this time talking about a guy named Tathan
Tathan.
Martell.
Tathan. Did they just spell that wrong on his birth certificate and went with it?
I think his name was like Jeff, and growing up, like his teeth came in, and he was whining all the time. He's like, man, this baby's just Tathan. It's killing me. That's a
Dude,
terrible-
Rhodes about to
terrible.
be Tathan.
Golly.
I don't know,
Folks.
man. That's all your sports for the day.
God, the sports. You guys want some breaking news?
Ooh, hit
This
us with it.
isn't
'Cause
sport- this
we
isn't
got no
about
running
Screech.
back, so let's do it.
Screech has passed. I didn't know he had cancer.
I didn't either.
Yep.
This will only enhance his followers.
That
I
works.
think I've
too.
said some unkind words about Screech before.
Well, Screech
He had it
was a
coming.
very hated person for
Dustin
a long
Diamond.
period of his life after Saved by the Bell.
not
but
his death he had coming.
He
just
did not. Yeah, he did not deserve to die.
No.
But
Very
Screech,
sad.
rest in peace,
Dustin
man. Dustin
Diamond.
Diamond. A staple of a lot of people's childhoods, and
Oh, yeah.
one of mine. I never really liked Screech on Saved by the Bell. Even it never made sense to me that Zach would hang out with Screech. Like,
Needed to
Yeah.
get his schoolwork done.
yeah,
Lovable loser.
yeah.
I don't want to out the story, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was announced, maybe a month ago, it was announced that Dustin Diamond had, actually it was before this, the return of Saved by the Bell was starting, like beginning of January.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
And
was-
the only person who didn't make a cameo was Dustin Diamond. And they interviewed,
and Lisa Turtle.
well, she was apparently involved in talks to come back, and they asked her, the actor for it, hey, why aren't you there? And obviously she's had some health issues. And then they asked about Dustin Diamond. They're like, well, the almighty diamonds, almighty dollars, the only thing that matters to Dustin Diamond. So if they got the contract right, I'm sure he'd be here. Like, you don't want to throw that shade because literally the next week announced that he had stage 4 cancer. A month later, checks out.
Tough. Well, to be fair to the new Saved by the Bell, as someone who watched 2 episodes of it,
That's
it's not a project that you'd be sprinting to get your name on at this point. So, wasn't great. It's probably gonna be better than the new Mighty Ducks series coming out soon.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a try.
I'm definitely gonna give it a try.
Would you say you're in the top 15% of Peacock viewership?
God, I have to be. I absolutely have to be. I am so done with Peacock. I'm so sick of them. On Sunday, they had a full slate. Yesterday, they had a full slate of EPL games that they could be playing, and they played some hyper niche car race. Which, don't get me wrong, like I do like watching a nice car race every once in a while, but putting that behind the paywall and just doing every single game, if you're an employee for NBC, you have to be angry.
Yeah.
I have an open dialogue via DM to the lead announcer of NBC Sports' soccer. He really made a mistake one day by responding to a message that I sent him, and now I just have an open dialogue with him. And one morning when I was particularly frustrated, I decided to send him a message being like, dude, what's up with all this Peacock stuff? He was not a fan of me saying that, and he kind of shot back at me.
Oh,
Shouts to Arlo White, though. He's my dog.
Dang, dude.
dropping names.
Arlo. Now, he hates me, so I will never DM him again. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me yet. Anyway.
Will, we cannot thank you enough. You did
Absolutely.
the work of
You're the
2
man, Will.
gentlemen and excelled on all fronts.
I know I wasn't the person that people necessarily wanted, but I'm the one that
want
we
you.
needed.
I think that's a lie. The Discord stands Will on Too Much Tips. So we appreciate it.
Anytime I can help out Too Much Dip, I'm always down. I have a lot of fun coming on here, and I love what you guys are doing.
With that said, let me make sure I don't play any circling back drops.
Dude, just play the circling back theme.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
Damn.